Well, hello everybody. Whether by PC, pod or pad, you are watching Paid to Play. My apologies ahead of time for any plosives you might be picking up. As you can probably see, I'm using my headset rather than my usual microphone setup because, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, my regular recording microphone kicked the bucket. So with any luck, I will have a new one in the next few weeks. I am Rob Farker, your host for this exploration of the dangerous idea that bringing your whole self, especially the parts of you that you worry might make you seem silly, geeky or odd, into your income-generating life is one of the best things you can do. It might not be easy, but it is easier than we think and even fear. And with the help of my guests in every episode, I'd like to show you how. Now, before we go on any further, I would like to say a big hello to my guest for this particular broadcast, and hopefully as many of them as possible going forward. My latest $11 per episode Patreon backer, Mitchell Davies of Yoko's Corner. Mitch, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No worries. I'm actually pretty excited. I haven't been on a podcast before, so
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Well, absolutely glad to have you here for, if no other reason, then it will give people something interesting to watch and to listen to while I fiddle around with making sure that this episode is live on the webs properly. So otherwise, I notice a lot of the time when I'm trying to update Facebook and Twitter and all that sort of thing, I'm basically staring into the camera, staring at my screen doing a lot. So anything that distracts from that is great. So yeah, how have you been, Mitch?
It's been pretty good. I'm recently getting a sponsor, hopefully. I'm not sure if I should mention their name yet, but I'm pretty excited.
No worries. Yep, sometimes you do need to keep details close to the chest in the early stages until things are firmed up. So for those of you who might not be aware, Mitch, I mentioned Yoko's Corner earlier on. That is the name of the anime-dedicated shop that Mitch is looking to open here in Cairns. So, yes, so that's still fairly in the early stages from the sounds of things right at the moment?
Yes, definitely. Still got a lot more stock to get, but that's pretty much the only thing that's been left to do, and then I hit the market.
Lovely. So you've actually got yourself a location already?
Yep. I'm going to be heading for the Esplanade markets to start off with, see how they go, just like a little test. But other than that, I think it's just getting stock in. But I've gotten some pretty good buyers that will give me lots of it, so for a very cheap price.
Marvelous. So, yeah, the night markets you're going to be opening in. Is that what you mean, or the actual, or the ones at the lagoon?
The ones at the weekend markets and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get a lot of tourists in there, and that's usually their bag, But other than that, yeah, I think it's just stock really, because I've gotten everything else. So I got it all set up, set up and going. That I got to update every month because new stuff comes out and I got to post it up. But it's hard to keep up with that because other stuff keeps getting in the way.
Of course. So yeah, what are you having to juggle? Getting the store sorted out with right at the moment. Are you at uni or anything, or?
No, I am trying to get this business up and going, but I'm doing a lot of freelance type of stuff like graphic design, website building and stuff like that. And cool. It's actually pretty good. It's going pretty good, actually.
Fantastic.
And it's the things I like doing too. Just putting stuff together, making illustrations. It's really fun.
So if anyone wanted to have a look at the illustrations and the stuff you've done so far, where would be the best place to find them?
I haven't really posted them anywhere. You could probably just see the websites themselves. I haven't actually put them on my Facebook page, just, I don't know why. I guess I just too much modesty, I guess. It's a good thing and also a bad thing because then people don't know what I've done. But actually, I should post them up actually, so people can have a look. Might get some more requests in. I did commissions too. Like in my background, I got a painting of Konata from an anime series called Lucky Star that I'm doing for someone, and I just ran out of skin-colored paint, so I've got this little sample jar, and I'm just trying to get the right color. And it's just not working for me. I'm just adding white, too much white. Now I got to add a little bit of brown. Too much brown. So I got I started off with that much paint, and now I've got like that much paint. So I'm pretty much set for skin color.
Well, that's good. So, yeah, got it. Thank you very much. So, yeah, still the one sample jar, or pots and pots of it now from all the ruddy experimentation.
I've been saving Dorito jars, the dips, and I've been putting them in. So I've been having to buy Doritos. So I got all this dip, no Doritos.
Oh, this is a bit frustrating. I'm just trying to get things shared properly on Facebook, and it keeps telling me that the page isn't found, but it's definitely live on the website right at the moment. So what is it doing? Come on. It's one of the most frustrating things of having to sort this out for social media. You have an automatic update set up, and yet sometimes it just doesn't seem to work. Come on. It's got to know. Where's my latest post? Tweets 240. Come on. No, okay. It seems to have... Social media so far seems to have completely ignored the post going live. Let's just make sure it's done its job properly at the back end. Come on. And yes, once again, here I am looking at my screen with a constant expression on my face. Oh, boy. So let's see. Yes, scheduled for visibility. Public status scheduled May 7th. Okay. That might help. It is not May 17th. It is May 15th. Publish.
Getting a bit ahead, are you?
Yes. I must have been wishing it was Tuesday for some strange unknown reason. Okay. Status published. Right. Fine. Thank you. Okay. So let's see, now that I've done that, if it has flowed through to all the necessary places. Anyway, you came on board as an $11 backer a few days ago. Did you have a chance to listen to the episode before now at all with your early access?
No, not yet. I'm actually doing it today, because it's a nice Sunday, and I figured it would be a good way to kick off the day. The nice podcast. Tall glass of chocolate milk, getting a bit dangerous here. Not even light milk, eh? Oh, I'm living at large. I got chocolate milk. I'm set.
Not just any milk, but chocolate milk.
Yeah, chocolate milk. Dairy.
Now, are you a good Australian? Is it Milo?
Milo? No, it's not Milo. I'm drinking Oak.
For shame. Oh, well, Oak's not too bad. Where are we? All right, now share on a page you manage. No, share in a group. Friends. Let's play podcast. So, folks, today's episode, number 81, which means I'm about one more episode and I'm at the halfway point for the season. So I'll have to work out whether or not I'm going to take a couple of weeks break or just plow on until I hit the 20 for the year goal that I've got planned and save all the rest for future episodes. Today's chat is with a gentleman by the name of Adam Koebel, who has a fantastic gig, one that is paying all his bills. He streams for Twitch, the online broadcast website, which I'm pretty sure Mitch is very familiar with, as he's a Twitch streamer himself. Am I right?
A bit of Twitch streaming. I recently have a slow internet due to the rain, but they're putting in optic fiber, so hopefully, because the optic fiber won't get disrupted by weather.
So it's actually going to be fiber to your premises, not quite fiber to the node, as everyone seems to be seems to be the current plan for our lovely internet infrastructure at the moment.
Oh, I'm not too sure, but I just hope it's got faster upload speed so I can.
Oh, exactly. I know what you mean.
Yeah, because it's crazy at the moment.
Here we go. Now it's on Twitter. Yes, I want to pin that to my profile page, and yes, I'm sure. I'm not worried. So yeah, Adam is a full-time Twitch streamer, but as well as being partnered with Twitch, he's also partnered with a website called Roll20, which I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, and just in case I haven't, it is basically an online browser-based application, although you can download it as an app for your Apple and Android tablets, that provides a virtual tabletop for playing tabletop role-playing games, i.e. Dungeons and Dragons. And yes, I know there are computer game versions of Dungeons and Dragons. There is even at least one massively multiplayer version of Dungeons and Dragons, which is called Neverwinter, but none of them are quite the same as the classic D&D, where you and some friends get together. And oh, that reminds me, I'd better make sure that I've got Q&A mode enabled, just in case I've got anybody else browsing or accessing the chat via the Hangout page. Just so folks, if you do have any questions at any time, please submit them via the Q&A. They will turn up here, and I will answer them as we go. And Adam is, I spend, I think, about 3 or 4 minutes at the beginning of the episode explaining the role of a game master within a tabletop role-playing game. Basically, he is a combination of director, supporting cast, and game designer and programmer, if you will. He's basically, if you try and compare Dungeons and Dragons to a video game, basically you and your friends are the players, so it's sort of like a multiplayer thing, and the GM is the game itself. So all of the NPCs, the world, the challenges, the resolution system, although that's why you have all these hefty rule books with D&D and their ilk, because they actually give everybody the rules that the computer game itself follows. And he streams sessions of, at the moment, 2 role-playing games with luminaries of the YouTube and live stream world. And yes, game masters them, and between that and his Twitch streaming, it's his full-time gig. He is the GM in residence at Roll20, which is, as well as, although I don't think his GMing online is actually for Roll20, it uses Roll20. It's for a channel called It Me JP. But yes, as the GM in residence for Roll20, he does a lot of advice videos on how to be a good game master and running entertaining gaming sessions and all that kind of thing. So they pretty much pay him to do that as well. And he's just recently started a new live streaming Q&A series called Office Hours, where he basically gets questions from people and answers them live on Twitch. So as a longtime fan of tabletop RPGs myself, it was fantastic chatting with him. And if you've ever considered trying to find some way of monetizing your hobby of tabletop RPGs without having to basically become an employee of Wizards of the Coast or White Wolf or Chaosium or Paizo or any of those big labels, then it's definitely worth a listen. Mitch, have you ever had... Oh, pardon me, my phone is just going ding-dong here. Mitch, have you ever tried getting into tabletop RPGs at all?
Not really. Some people did try to get me into D&D online. And because of my my personality that I have online, they thought of some pretty interesting characters. And I don't think I would be able to follow along with it.
Right.
I don't really have that much of attention span because I'll just be joking around constantly. And they're like, yeah, you probably don't want to do that because such and such is very serious when he plays D&D.
I'll tell you what, it's always a tricky thing, and it just comes down to individual personalities. I mean, if you have a chance, and I think I've talked about this one a lot, but I'll admit that I'm a fan, but catch a web series called Critical Role, which is a bunch of voice actors. Yeah, with Role, R-O-L-E. It's a bunch of voice actors playing D&D, and you know that you've got an indicator of how seriously they take it when the guy who is playing the bard, who one of his powers is inspiration, he actually is able to give bonuses to the other players through his power of song, and he will... Every time he decides he's going to inspire somebody, he will mangle the lyrics of a popular song. Like when the barbarian character is basically dead and he's trying to inspire the cleric character to bring him back to life. He sort of thinks about it for a second and goes, ha, 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 you know you've got to cure grog. And it just, you know, you have some games where everyone's kind of got to stay in character and try and make sure they stay true to the internal reality of the game. And sometimes the hobby invites control freaks that way. It can bring out you're in a control freak, especially as you're having to mix your own personal creativity with other people's. But if you take a deep breath and decide not to take it too seriously, then you wind up having bags more fun anyway. And I'm trying to get a game myself going, and that's, as much as occasionally it does bring out my personal control freak. I mean, I think I told people at the beginning at one point not to worry about character backstories, and then a couple of days ago, because I've been watching Critical Role and noticing how the game master had been weaving together all these epic stories based on these nuggets of backstory that his players are giving him. I thought, oh shit, you know, I want to have something as cool and entertaining as that. I bet it's, you know, make sure everyone's working on their backstories. And I put a post up on the group on Facebook that I have for it. One of our players came back and said, Rob, didn't you say that you were, you know, just going to be taking it easy and let things come up as we play? And I went, oh yeah, I did. So it's it can be a tricky thing, but yeah, if you're playing with friends and people you trust and people who just, you know, you work out beforehand exactly how seriously or not seriously you want to take it, then yeah, it can be an absolute blast. Boy, and I've just gone off on a little bit of a mini side quest rant there kind of thing, although it is related to the topic at hand. So favorite that, retweet that. Yep, okay, so I've got Facebook sorted out. Ooh. Oh, that's my phone telling me that I've just favorited and retweeted my own tweet. So one of the downsides of having multiple Twitter accounts, folks. Okay. So let's see. Facebook is taken care of. Twitter is taken care of. What else have I got on my checklist? Shane Gibson. I don't know if you're watching along right at the moment, but you've sort of become one of my one of the show's Uber fans just recently, as well as being my guest for an episode from about a month or two ago. Thank you very much for all the retweeting and liking and stuff that you're doing at the moment. Okay, it's on Patreon as paid content. The YouTube episode, I had better do that before I forget. I uploaded the episode to YouTube a couple of weeks ago, and now need to actually nip in and just make it public. So let's see if I can do that without stuffing up my connection with Video Manager. There we go. Yes, with my connection with this Google Hangout. So far, so good. Edit that. Change that to public. Publish. And then I need to go into edit the post and make sure I put it in there. Okay. And after that, frantic tabbing, as I'm sure you can hear. Facebook is done, Twitter is done, Google+, Pinterest and Instagram, bugger it, they can wait. Refresh, there we go. There it is there on YouTube, which is basically it's the audio podcast with a cute graphic put over it. Let's be honest, folks. I still haven't worked out the intricacies of sharing via video just yet. So let's, there we are, text-based editor. Scroll down a bit. Oh, God, I've got lots and lots of links in this one. It can be hard to tell where things are. And that's done. Okay, so I think that will do in terms of frantic updating. So yeah, what's been going on generally since the last one? My guests for the first episode of season 4, or my guest, I should say, Jeff Salmonen, he and Natalie have still frantically working on Lost Hope. Unfortunately, their second Kickstarter was not successful. I think it hit about 33%, a little under 33% from memory. It didn't quite hit 10,000 Canadian dollars, and the goal was 30,000. So they are now investigating other options there, but they are still frantically working away on that show. It is a labor of love for them, so hopefully they will be able to get some more content on that out soon and investigate other options for getting it funded. Miracle of Sound in the last couple of weeks has actually put out 2 new songs. There is a new Dark Souls 3 song. I think he put one out a couple of weeks beforehand. So, and he mentioned that he's been getting some fantastic feedback on the new one. But the one I like having, even though I've never played Ratchet and Clank, is Jet Fuel Heart, which came out about a week ago. It's one of those great fun ones that he does. It's rock, it's electronic, and it's just, it will, yeah, if you don't take life too seriously, it will put a smile on your face. Malak Kersplat, I shared it with him, and he said, because he's a big-time Ratchet and Clank fan, he said now he wants to go back and play the game, or the games, because there have been several, and there's a movie coming out. And I think that's basically, you know, you've got a winner on your hands when people, well, when Miracle of Sound has a winner on his hands when people listen to the song and want to go and play the game. That doesn't necessarily work out too well, because I went and bought Destiny after listening to Cataclysm, and I don't know, the epic tone that was there in Cataclysm, I don't know why it didn't quite come across after the first little while of Destiny. Just started to get more wandering around and shooting insanely, and because I didn't really want to plonk $80 down for an Xbox Live subscription again, I wasn't playing the multiplayer and, you know, getting involved in that side of things. And now that my 360 is kind of kaput anyway, yeah, I don't quite feel like I'm missing out on all that much. So yes, as I mentioned earlier on, I'm still with a headset mic right at the moment, so my apologies for any plosives that get picked up while you are listening to this. I hope I don't blow out your ears. I want to say thank you very much to Ian Harvey for making a once-off donation via PayPal of $15. It was much appreciated. Thank you, Ian. And I also want to say a thank you very much to my 2 new donors. First of all is Mitchell. So Mitch, thank you very much once again for deciding to back the podcast.
No worries, Rob.
And I also want to say a big thank you to Sim Lauren, who was my guest for episode 80. Decided that she was going to become a $7 an episode backer, and I want to very quickly minimize everything. Where is it? My spreadsheet of Patreon rewards. Where are we at? And of course, LibreOffice is going to take its sweet time in loading up. Okay. Quit thinking about it. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Now, I still need to record a couple of thank you videos for folks. Where are we actually? Put that in. So Angus, Shane, Christian, I definitely still owe you a quick thank you video. I'll get those recorded and up as soon as possible. Angus and Sim, once May clears for Sim, but Angus has already been a backer for April. I owe you guys a quick 1-minute voice recording, so if you can tell me what you want me to do, give me a short script, whether it's just a voiceover or just I'll keep it on hold for the moment. I've got my neat little spreadsheet here. Birdie and Mike, at the moment, I owe you 3 minutes worth of recording after the April payments cleared. So after, I know you guys are basically just backing for 1 episode a month. So once May clears, that will go up to 6 minutes. And so Mitchell, yourself, please keep in mind that when June rolls around, once I've got your backing for the 2 episodes that are going to go live in May, you can get 6 minutes worth of voice recording from me. So if you need an answering service for Yoko's Corner, or a bit of voiceover if you want to do any YouTube commercials or anything like that, or just anything you can think of, let me know, and I shall record it for you.
There's my new voicemail.
Absolutely. All right, next on the list of updates, let's see. Chats in the can. I was going to get a chat done yesterday morning. Unfortunately, there was a bit of not exactly a scheduling conflict. My guest was available, but she asked if she could put it back an hour. And unfortunately, I did have some other things I needed to get done that morning. So we basically both took a rain check until next Saturday. The good news is I still have 2 more chats in the can, which will carry me over through May and the first half of June. I am still keeping on top of my list of guests. I've got in touch with, or trying to get in touch with, the 2 folks whom Adam Koebel suggested. So with any luck, I'll be able to chat with them sometime soon. And I am still following up with some other people, hoping that we can queue up some times. So if you folks do have any suggestions for guests, let me know. I cannot make any guarantees. That's why I don't make it a Patreon backing, because really whether I can get a person on is partway out of my control. It is really down to whether I can get in touch with them and then whether they have any time in their schedule. Aside from that, general play-wise, as I think I mentioned a little earlier on, Pathfinder is still cooking away. I've now got an extra player on board for that. So last Wednesday, which originally was going to be session 1, is wound up being session 2 of character creation. So session 1 will be on Wednesday week. And I had a bit more fun with the Overwatch Open Beta, which was last weekend. Enough to sell me on spending $70 on it. Not yet. As fun as it is to play, when a whole bunch of characters get on screen at once, like when you have the big team fights over the objective, my computer tends to chug a little bit still, and I really I'm not fond of playing it on sort of the low quality, because it looks fairly ugly as modern games go. So it might have to wait until such time as I get some cash to put a new video card into my PC. and a new power supply as well, because it's only got about a 300-watt power supply. So if you get any kind of serious video card, it needs something with a bit more oomph wattage that way. And of course, then you've got to look at cooling and make sure that, especially in the hot weather we get up here in Cairns, one of the downsides of living in the tropics is that electronics can tend to overheat a bit. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I will get into that, and if I did, I'm not sure where I'd take it, because I know that Twitch streaming is kind of is definitely fun for you, Mitch, but I've tried watching a few streams and I've given it a try once or twice, and yeah, I'm not sure if it's quite my thing, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, the next chat, episode 82, of course, goes live in 2 weeks' time on May the 29th Australian, or May the 28th US time, or late in the evening, May 28th UK time, and it is with a lady by the name of Anne Tworick, whom I got in touch with through the Random Transmissions podcast. Justin K. Day, the host of that, another fellow who I've got to get on this podcast sometime, as he's getting backing for his show on Patreon as well, hired her as a voice actor to create the character of Pixel. And as it turns out, when I spoke with her, she'd actually been using freelance voice work to put herself through uni. So A, that's a fantastic thing, and B, as something that I have flirted with every now and again. If you go to my personal website, you'll see a few voice samples there of stories that I've read out, both for myself and for other people. Hello to Birdie and Mike, by the way. Looking at doing a bit more stuff for them and their Patreon page. And if they get enough backers, they're looking at hiring Neon as actual voice talent. So I better get that new microphone sorted out once the next Patreon payment clears. Yes, that is something that I do kind of enjoy, and I think in part it's one of the reasons why I am keen to get back into tabletop RPGs, because especially as a game master, you've got to bring multiple characters to life, and one of the best ways to do that is to give them a distinctive voice. Again, if I mention Critical Role, just look at Matt Mercer and all the various characters he's played, in particular the more exaggerated ones like Victor the Black Powder Merchant, a guy you really do not want to be in close proximity to. He's enthusiastic about his craft, but considering his craft is refining various chemicals, including black powder, yes, keep your distance and make sure you don't have any naked flames around the guy. But he is, I think, ever since seeing that episode of Critical Role, I keep seeing people's tribute videos to Victor the Black Powder Merchant, a character who, from the looks of things, Matt Mercer pretty much came up with on the fly when one of his characters decided he needed to get some more black powder in a town that they were in, and yeah, he just decided to go and have fun with this, what could have otherwise been a fairly generic merchant type character. And yeah, do a search for Critical Role and the Vasselheim episodes, Vasselheim, or even just do a search for Critical Role and Victor, Victor, the Black Powder Merchant. And people, I'm sure, will have just made individual clips of those bits of the episodes, and you'll be able to see not just Matt having fun being Victor, but the other 7 or 8 people, his players at the table, basically trying not to wet themselves laughing at this at his portrayal. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it news-wise, and it's coming up to 9:10 now. So technically, we've got another a little over 20 minutes. So I'm trying to think what else we can. Did you want to have a geek out about anything at the moment, Mitchell? Have you been playing anything or watching anything that you've really enjoyed?
Actually, I have been playing X-Men Legends on PS2. That's going to be my next series to record, and it's really cool.
And I kind of noticed that it just happens to be sort of sitting off your shoulder there in the background.
Oh, yeah, it's on top of the PS2. I set it up there because I have to remind myself which one I'm recording next, because I tend to run behind recordings. like right now behind a game right now that I'm gonna have to record after I watch episode 81 with Mr. Koebel. So yeah, I'm playing that, and there's another one. It's on my dashboard here. Nope, it's gone. I've lost it now. I did a clear up, and now it's gone.
Okay.
Where are you?
Mustn't have been too much fun if you can't remember which one it was.
Oh, it was all right. I just bought it from Steam, and I moved it into my games folder, and then I moved my games folder. Where is it?
Let's see.
Oh, Dust and Elysian Tale. Elysian Tale.
Ah.
It's a not a normal game that I'll play. It's a furry fantasy game, but it's got some pretty cool action. But I'm recently trying to find also a retro game that involves collecting. I don't actually know the name. It's a witch game from I think the 90s or 80s or something, and it involves collecting colorful keys to unlock different colored doors, and you have to avoid these witches. And
okay.
I only find one, like I think it's called Granny's Garden, but that's not it. And I have no clue. And that was the game to play on my computer. But yeah,
tried mining the gaming community for anyone who might remember what it was, or
no, I did searches, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to post it up and say it's not Granny's Garden. But yeah, I can't find it anywhere. It's killing me.
Okay.
I have it on a floppy disk. Those old school floppy disks, but I haven't got a tray in my computer for it.
Have to promote one of my other previous guests, have you tried GOG.com?
GOG.com.
Yeah, it's a gaming distributor. It used to be called goodoldgames.com. And although they broadened their portfolio, one of their main things was basically taking, and it kind of still is taking old games from the floppy disk era and actually getting them up and running on modern platforms. I mean, even though I've still got pretty much most of the Wing Commander games back on floppy disk and the later ones on CD-ROM over on my shelf, they've actually got the full, I think now the full run of them available on GOG.com as well. So even though I didn't actually wind up playing them, I wound up buying most of them, and I just burned them onto a CD-ROM and put them in the boxes with the original floppies, which I don't think would be any good whatsoever anymore. But you know, if the urge ever struck me, then there they still are. I can go back to them and have a bit of fun.
I will definitely check out my luck with GOG.com.
Yeah, no, I had one of their main marketing guys on, I think, a couple of years ago to talk about getting paid to market classic games and all that kind of thing. So it was that was a good, fun little chat. Where are we? Back that up. Trevor Longino, his name was. No, I don't want to log in. Let's just go pay2play.com.au. Sounds like it's silly question, perhaps, considering that we live in Cairns, but it sounds like there is a bird in the background. Is it just a outside, or have you got a pet bird at your place?
There's a lorikeet in our cage just outside.
And it was a lorikeet.
Yeah, and he's going off because he can see other birds.
It sounds like he's having a good chat there. Where are we? Yeah, so episode 28, April the 13th, 2013. So that was just over, 2 years and a month ago now. But GOG.com have got a whole bunch of old stuff, and they've been going great guns. And the other fun bit is they actually put stuff out. Everything they put out is DRM free, and it just goes to show, you can still do things like that and not worry about copy protection and still earn enough of an income from what you're doing to keep a business going. So it's I wish those guys all their success, all their ongoing success, and every now and again I'll just sort of swing by and see if there's anything that I might be tempted to get my mitts on. Not only did they put out the Wing Commander series of games, but they also put out all the old X-Wing games, which I don't know. I'd be tempted to get them, except I don't have a joystick anymore, and I don't think I'd want to play those sorts of games without that flight stick setup, because it just doesn't seem like quite as much fun if you've not got. And a couple of times I have spent a good amount of money on those really expensive, like $150 joysticks, where you actually get, the ergonomic directional joystick in your right hand, and the forward and back throttle stick in your left hand. And I don't know whether it makes a huge difference to gameplay. I'm sure there are people, especially hardcore simulator fans, who swear by them, but I don't know. There's just it's like not playing Child of Eden. It's like playing Child of Eden without a Kinect. It's not quite the same thing. If you want to be flying a starfighter, then you need starfighter controls, if you know what I mean. Be pulling back on the stick to bank and avoid enemies and get them lined up in your sights and all that kind of thing. I am just, Steam is blinking at me. All right, fine, restart. But yeah, if you ever wind up looking for something, that's another thing I bought from there. The Neverwinter Nights games, which my wife Vicky and I, back in the day, we actually played through the original Neverwinter Nights, which was a Dungeons and Dragons game, and we never got our hands on Neverwinter Nights 2 when it came out. But I got a couple of copies of it through here, I think, when it was on sale. And yeah, all it's really waiting on is just the two of us to find the time and the mental capacity to give it a whirl, because sometimes these things do require a fair bit of concentration. So yeah, aside from that, been watching any decent anime or reading any manga? You mentioned Lucky Star a little earlier on, Mitch.
Oh yeah.
Is that any good?
Lucky Stars, it's not more of a teenage aged area. That one's more of, say, like a younger audience, but it does relate to some adult humor, which I think is pretty funny. But there was one series that I wanted to start watching. It's actually on my Facebook page. I did an update for it. Oh, look at all the shares that I did for you. There's a lot.
You certainly did.
It's Nichijou. It's My Ordinary Life. It's I've watched it on Anime Lab. It's a really nice anime. It's based in a school. It's like an ordinary like slice of life type of anime, which is ones that I like to watch. That comedy and romance. I don't really watch like hardcore gore ones, because I really love comedy, and I'm kind of naturally funny, which some of my friends, if they're watching, probably know that, or if they're gonna watch this. They're the friends that try to get me into D&D.
Right.
And they say I act a lot different when I'm recording, which I do, because it doesn't just go onto YouTube. I share my videos with an Australian anime magazine, Anime Mavericks. They got me onto their online edition, and I kind of have to tone myself down and just calm down a bit, because I tend to get overexcited, and then I just like start rambling, and it's pretty funny. But they like my natural humor, because I'm just naturally just sarcastic and and they're Americans, so sometimes they don't get my Australian humor, which just makes it even more funny for me.
Now, God, when I tell you what, when I get on camera, sometimes I listen to myself and I'm thinking, God, you are rambling on for crying out loud, Rob. How is this interesting to anybody? But no,
yeah.
I'll have to make sure I catch up with a few more episodes, and I will. Well, I'll tell you what. Once you've got the stall live and done, had it going for a few weeks, I'll have to get you on the show as well to talk about how you're doing, not just on these live chats, but an actual full episode. We'll have to do that sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right then. It's 9:15 at the moment, and I don't know, Mitch. I get the feeling that we're kind of. I tell you what. Before we go, I mean, you've got your Red Hood cosplay all over your Facebook page right at the moment, and I know that Red Hood is DC, and what I'm about to ask is Marvel. But have you nipped out and seen? I actually both of them, Batman versus Superman and Captain America: Civil War. Have you indulged in those yet?
Oh, I have indulged myself in Batman vs Superman. I haven't gone out to see Civil War yet. I kind of like it when it's the audience is like a little slimmer, not with like a packed theater. That's very. I just don't like it. It's just too much, you know. So sometimes I like to see it just before it comes out on DVD.
Yeah.
That way the audience.
Now you've got more guarantees that more chance that you're less likely to get interrupted by some idiot with a mobile phone.
Yes, and there won't be any kids too running up and down the. Yeah, I went to see what was it? Actually, I think it was Batman vs Superman. I went to see. There were kids running up and down. I was like, oh my god, it's this theater. It's that situation. Just. But yeah, I'm putting together. I'm trying to get some armor together too for my my Red Hood cosplay. I got my body armor here. Hold on.
Okay, I can of course see the helmet in the background, but let's see. Show us the body armor.
And it's basically just motocross armor. But it actually looks really well with the hood, with the helmet on and everything.
Yeah.
Then I've ordered a utility belt that I'm going to mold some same color plastic over, and it's gonna look pretty cool.
Yeah. So, have you got any conventions coming up that you're going to be cosplaying it at that you've got planned?
Hopefully, Supernova. I want to head down there for Supernova. So I gotta hurry up and get this thing ready. I gotta get my button together.
Next one's Sydney, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I had it on my calendar, but I lost my calendar too when I was organizing.
Oh God! Hey, and in the middle of everything else, are you still one of the main guys in the Cairns Cosplay Club?
Yes, they actually recently asked for me to organize this year's parade for the Grand Festival Parade in August. So I'm just waiting on confirmation from one of the committee members of the Japanese Community Association, because they created the cosplay club. I'm just waiting for them to hand over some information, and I should be able to kick it off. But I was the previous president. But they brought someone in from their place to come in and take it over. But I can I'm still like organizing events and stuff, so that's pretty cool. They let me do that. They love me.
So they ousted you, but they're still keeping you around because you come in handy.
Yeah, I come in handy.
Yeah. Does it take some of the pressure off not being the the guy with whom the buck stops?
Not really, because I get power
Yeah.
hungry. It's like, I own you all. You're all mine. Now let's go scare the public with our freaky costumes. I walked around with that helmet on in public. I've never seen the fear of so many people. It was so funny. And then the cosplay shoot ended, and then I had to walk to the bus stop by myself with a plastic prop gun in my holster that's attached to my leg. And when I had to take my helmet off, and I had like a black beanie to keep the helmet from moving because there's no interior cushioning, and I looked like a bank robber on a payphone, just like talking to someone. Oh yeah, can you give me a lift? And I was like, hang up on the payphone, and then I look over in a tourist place, and they were just like staring at me. I'm just like waving, just casually, and I was just like,
and they're like,
crazy person. I'm waiting for them to just throw their money at me. Just take it. Oh man.
Oh boy.
I didn't have a bag, so I couldn't put my gun away. So I'm just
dear.
walking through town with a pistol. Just casually, just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, don't mind me. It's not the first time I got weird looks. Because I like to take shortcuts through town. Like there's like alleys and stuff that I usually just cut through and stuff. And I cut through an alley, and then I went through this door, which I thought it was just the English Learning Center, but I didn't know they didn't have a back door. And it turns out it was Westpac.
Oh dear.
I walked through the back door of Westpac with my Naruto cosplay. And security guard had the strangest look on his face. I was like, I better get out of here. I'm going to get tasered.
That's right, back when you actually could get into Westpac through the rear entrance. Yeah, I think they've closed that off now.
Probably because of me. It's like, look through the back. Someone close that off. Like, damn. We got cosplayers walking through here.
And Naruto wasn't even a masked one, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but he had a pretty fancy getup. I don't even have his costume out, but I got his wig, and that was pretty. It was still alarming. It's like I didn't go through there with my Payday cosplay.
Oh boy, yes, I can certainly imagine that you would have probably been detained temporarily at least.
Yep. Walking through the bank with that's not a good thing to do. But I went to a festival with that mask without realizing. It turns out this was when I think it was G3 or something. G3, I think it was. It's like a world meeting for like leaders of countries or something like that. And I didn't know they were in town.
I think.
G8, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going on, and I cosplayed Dallas from Payday 2. And it turns out that someone very important was supposed to be coming to the Japanese festival. And I was walking around with my AUG rifle, and I got some weary looks from people in suits.
Yeah.
That was pretty frightening. I got like death stares and stuff.
I can imagine. I did a quick search for Dallas Payday 2, and yeah, I can certainly understand getting the odd looks.
It was really terrible. But then I got on stage, and then they stopped looking at me because they realized that I'm part of the act. I think that was the second time I was on stage. It's still pretty frightening. But
all right. Well, as we're pretty much getting to 9:30, I think now's probably a a fairly safe time to wind things up. It doesn't look as though we've had any questions from the room this time, but fingers crossed, folks. Just remember, please come along for the next one in a couple of weeks when I do the launch party for episode 82 with Anne Torek. Even if you're not a member of the chat like Mitch is, and I do reserve that for my $11 an episode backers on Patreon, you can still come along to the page, activate the Q&A mode, and ask questions, and we will answer them. I think particularly last week, we did have quite a few on there, and I think you're actually one of them, Mitch. So yeah, maybe that's half the problem. You're I need to rescind the access and boot you out, so you can only just do things through Q&A from next week.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, look, on that note, folks, I think it is time to wind this up. Mitch, thank you very, very much for coming along and making this launch party a bit more of a party than me just staring into the camera and rambling on about various things.
No worries, it was actually pretty fun.
All right. Well, fingers crossed. See you in 2 weeks' time as well. And in the meantime, everybody, this is Rob Farker asking you to be good, be kind, and be a little dangerous.